Hello and welcome to this new version of Yak. That's version 0.10.2, and although there is still no new content, it's really a huge one because it brings 4 major new features and a few smaller ones. Each of the 4 major ones will have its dedicated full tutorial video, so in this one I'm not going to explain anything. This will only be a quick demo when possible with no explanation. So the first big one is that we can now pin the elements of the UI to force them to stay in place. So for example, the journal can be forced to stay on screen while the UI is away, which can be very handy. And the desktop, the desk and the tray can be forced to appear always at a chosen destination. You can notice that they do not appear in front of me, they appear at the destination that I've chosen for them. Again, this is an option and you'll get the full explanation in the tutorial video. Next, we've got a new option, a new desk view that allows us to see the desk instantly. So this is done using the numerical keyboard, 0 and 1 key on the numerical keyboard. So the 1 will call the desk up and bring me directly to it, as you can see, and the 0 will dismiss the desk and bring me back to my initial location. So I'm going to call back the desk here. And this can be very useful because there is an option to customize the desk view, and so it can bring some variety in the way we use the desk. Again, I'm not going to show anything more here. There's a full tutorial video explaining and show you everything to you. Next, we've got player teleportation. Again, this is something that I cannot demonstrate here because I would need client and a server screens, and I do not have the setup for this video. But there is a tutorial video with the full setup and explaining and showing you everything. So very quickly, we have the possibility to force the player to teleport to our location as the dungeon master, of course. So we can force them to see exactly what we are seeing. That can be useful. We can also force the players to teleport to any pawn that we have chosen, so we can put them anywhere on the map very quickly. And finally, we can choose any pawn to be the starting point for the map, which means that whenever anyone connects to the map, it will be teleported to this pawn, and when we reload the map, everyone, including the dungeon master, will be teleported to this pawn. So this can be very useful as well. Finally, we've got persistence of pawns. Persistence is the properties of object to follow us from save to save. So again, this is something that I will not demonstrate here, but very quickly we now have the possibility to make the pawns in a character sheet persistent simply by selecting the character sheet the pawns belongs to. For example, I'm going to take here this character sheet. I'm going to mark it as persistent. You can see this is done here, and now the pawns belonging to this character sheet are now persistent, and this means here that they will be put on a tray that will follow me in any new save. You can see that they are on this tray here. Okay, so this is persistence. Again, this is very short and with no explanation, but this is quite a complicated subject, and you have the full explanation and demonstration in the tutorial video. But from a very practical point of view, all you have to do is just selecting a character sheet as being persistent, and all its pawns will follow you on this tray on any map that you're going to. Okay, so that's it for the 4 major new features. Next, we've got some smaller ones, but nonetheless quite important. So first, there is now a limit on pawn selection. I can now select only the pawns that belong to me or that are public. This means that I cannot select anymore any pawn that belong to another player. So to show you that, I'm going to get away from the dungeon master state, and you can see that I can now not select. I'm now completely unable to select those pawns, and I can only select those pawns because they belong to me, but those pawns I cannot select because, as you can see, when I'm the dungeon master, they belong to a character sheet here that do not belong to me. So of course, as the dungeon master, I can do everything I want, but if I'm not dungeon master, I cannot select them anymore. Okay. Next, we've got some network optimization. The pawns refresh frequency between server and client has been decreased, and because of that, the network and server charges are both hugely reduced, and the result is that we can now put between 2 and 3 times more pawns on the map than on previous versions, so that's quite big as well. And finally, the pawn's individual properties are now displayed on the desk. So let me show you that here by going on the desk very quickly, and you can see that basically I copy-pasted this part of the character sheet UI on the desk here. So now if I select different characters here, you can see that I get their individual properties displayed on the desk. So in principle, I can now use the desk completely without, as long as I'm a player, I can use the desk without the use of the main UI. Okay, so I think this is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it, and if it's the case, then as always, see you in the next. Thanks, bye.